Today I'm getting ready to demonstrate how to do the slab base and begin building and storing your coils for your crazy coil pots. Most of you already have a pre-wedged chunk of clay, and so you don't have to do it, but mine I grabbed out of a bag and I need to do a little bit of it. I'm just trying to work it into a cube or a sphere or something to get all the air bubbles out. And you can rotate it, use the canvas so it's not suctioning to the table, and work it into a nice ball. And depending on what shape that you're making and what scale of your pot, you don't need to use the whole chunk of clay. But I'm going to go ahead and push all mine out. Maybe I'll do a longer, like rectangular prism or something. Before I use rolling pin though, I'm going to press and flip with the palm of my hands just so it's a little bit easier to roll it out. And this is something she showed you on the video in a review, so that part I know you know how to do. And we're not going to get dowel rods out because I don't think it's necessary. I think for your slab base you can just kind of eyeball, like she said, as thick as your pinky or a pencil. And if you're doing a wacky shape, I would use a scratch stick to draw it first before you cut it with the needle tool, although yesterday she just trimmed hers out, and if you're comfortable, that's totally fine. I think I can't go there because there's an air bubble. I'm just going to go right inside of that. And once you have your shape how you like it, you don't have to check with me. You can just trim off the excess for your bottom of your vessel. All this extra clay I can use for coils and modeled pieces to attach. Now from the needle tool you can see a lot of scratches and rough marks and edges. You can smooth that out today, or since we're going to store it in damp towel, you might wait to do a little bit of that till the day that you're actually going to start blending coils on. I would say today in class and tomorrow in class you're going to be just building and making the coils, and then by Friday, Monday start attaching and blending things onto your base. So this is ready, but I don't want it to dry out to leather hard or greenware while I'm rolling my coils because it takes a little bit of time. And so this Kate has already gotten me some damp towel, and I'm trying to put the flattest side of my bag down on top of my board and then move the slab into my bag. And I'm just going to cover it with damp towel, and I don't have to super seal it. I just don't want it to dry out as I'm working on coils. And she started with a big chunk in the video for her coils. I would recommend, till you're comfortable, start with like a ping pong or golf ball size bit of clay before you start rolling out your coils. And I know that the canvases slide around a little bit, but if you're careful and take your time, I think you'll be just fine. Mine is, I can feel it, it's kind of lumpy and you could probably hear it. Remember how she twisted the ends opposite and rolled? And because this is older clay, it's not as plastic as yours, I can already see cracks or really dry areas, so I'm just going to get the sponge damp and work it over the coil a little bit before I roll some more. Now I'm just going to save this until I have a bunch of even coils rolled, but because we don't have a long class period like her, we don't want them to dry out. So I'm just going to do a loose snail shape and start to place them in layers of damp towel that I can store in my bag until later in the week, until I'm ready to build it. So this guy's good. I could wrap it over and start doing another one. It's alright. Just leave it. Okay, so I'll start with the ball, roll it back and forth in my hands, and then you can twist it and again keep rolling and coiling until you have a good collection or have used most of your clay. You could even, for some of your designs, start modeling your little spheres or cubes that you're using. But before you go, I do want to show you some options that you can do instead of just like the normal circle snail. What you can do. I think that's okay. I'm trying to roll them fairly thick because when I blend them on, I want to have enough clay that I'll still have some to work with without having a super thin clay pot. I'm going to begin rolling this one just into a tight little snail. And I could just wrap this up and use it later Or if I want it to be like an interesting shape, I could tap it into a triangle or a square. And this would look really cool for an edge to your pot. Now she didn't do this in the video, but you could use your finger to smooth or blend those coils together on the back, just so it works a little bit better. But then I would just keep wrapping and coiling until I was done with all my clay. And if you run out, let me know. I'll trim you off more. But you don't want to super soak your towel because you might make your coil turn into like a slip or real plastic clay and you'll have to rebuild it the next class period. And then at cleanup time, I would just wrap everything up in your bag, making sure that you're not smashing your slab, but you could get quite a few on here. In fact, I could just lay coils right on top of my slab and then lay new paper towel over the top. You don't have to completely cover your clay with a paper towel blanket. You just don't want it to suction to your bag. And at the end of class today, it's really important that you push out all the air and tuck this under tight so that tomorrow you can come back, finish coiling or modeling or shaping whatever pieces that you need to. Okay? You can cut.